What is up, YouTube? It is Baseball Nerd back with another MLB The Show 23 video. This video today is going to be all about investments. Now, investments are definitely a little bit of a risk. You're taking a chance that these guys are going to get upgraded through the live roster updates throughout the season, and they could possibly not. SDS might not agree with how we view these players. They might not play the way we're expecting them to play and get upgraded. But based off of everything I know, looking at last season, spring training, into this next season, I think that all of these cards are great investments. And I know the thumbnail says 9 investments. I know we got 9 investments on the books. But if you stick around to the end of the video, I have a 10th sleeper pick that I think will be a really nice investment. I don't have a lot of info to back it up off the top of my head. Probably could look into the stats a little bit more, but I just feel like this guy is going to be a great investment, especially the price he's at right now. So if you like this video, if it helps you, even if it helps you out in a couple weeks or a month or something, you want to come back, leave a like, leave a sub, I would appreciate it. Subscribers obviously helps the channel grow, so I really appreciate it. Let's hop right into these 10 investment cards for you guys to make some big stubs. So I turned off my camera so I can show you guys the full screen right now as we go through this. I'm starting out with number 1 here, shortstop for the Texas Rangers, Corey Seager. Now, looking at Corey Seager, no shift is going to help him as a lefty, right? Contact was a little weak last year. They bumped it up. His defense is obviously going to really help, and I think he's got a great defensive glove. So I see that coming up quickly, even though defense is normally not something that comes up very fast in the show. He lost more hits to the shift last year than almost anyone else in baseball, and it led his career in the lowest average he's ever had in a single season. I think he's going to come back and have a bounce back year. I see him easily being a diamond. I see him getting some boost to all of his hitting stats. Obviously, they won't be that high, but then the defense, like I said, not easy to come by in live series roster updates, but I definitely think he'll get a boost. He's not a bronze defender, and I think that will slowly start to trickle up over the next couple updates for sure. Next up, we have Braves first baseman Matt Olson. Now, looking at his price right here, $950 for a gold 82, really low price. I think it's a great price point to get in on Matt Olson. He's another guy, another big lefty that I think his contact will come up with the shift being eliminated. I also think, he just kind of had a down year last year, switched teams. They got a lot of big hitters in that lineup to help provide protection for him. I think he gets, a little more accustomed to it and starts really going off. He had an amazing spring training, led everyone in spring training in home runs. I think he's going to just keep getting more power and contact, and he's a gold glover, so I see the defense yet again coming up. I know defense normally goes slowly to be improved by SDS. They want it to be a longer period of time of seeing that improvement, but I see him and Corey Seager bumping up from bronze defense for sure. Next up, we got Christian Javier, and this dude is a potential Cy Young candidate. He finished last year, I think, at an 88 diamond, so starting off this year at 83 gold, they really dropped him down. I think the walks per 9 is kind of what killed him, but I see that coming up, honestly. If he's a gold like he is right now at 83 with the price point he's at, there's just so much opportunity. I think he could literally finish this year at an 88, 89, 90 diamond and be worth a hell of a lot more. So I'm definitely going to buy a bunch of Christian Javier right now. And the Astros are still really good. I think that if he fixes the BB9, the walks per 9, so I think showing that second half of last year, bringing it into this year, his walks per 9 being so low right now, there's a big gap, a big margin for him to improve that walks per 9, and I think he's going to do it, and that will definitely, in my opinion, get him at least up into the diamond threshold, which will make you a good amount of stubs, but potentially could even be a long-term hold on some of his cards for a future of like an 88, 89, 90 diamond, because I think he's got that kind of potential. Now I'm pulling up a bronze, and this is from my favorite team, the Angels, Patrick Sandoval. Last year, this dude was on fire. He was one of the best pitchers in our rotation, right up there with Ohtani. He was far above league average. And then you guys saw him. If you watched any of the World Baseball Classic for Team Mexico, he was presumptuously the second best starting pitcher in that rotation behind Julio Urias of the Dodgers. But Patrick Sandoval flat out dominated. He dominated Team USA. He dominated his second start. He looked really good throughout the whole WBC. I think he's only getting better and better and better. He just turned 26, I believe. He's just looking nasty. He's not walking people. He's getting a good amount of strikeouts. He's limiting hard contact. I think overall, he's going to give up a couple bombs every now and then, but he looks really good. And the World Baseball Classic was enough to prove it to me, especially how last year went. That showed that he can do it over an extended, regular season. but then you come into the World Baseball Classic against all those big bats on all those lineups that he faced, paired with, you know, the overall just atmosphere of that and the stakes, the high stakes going on, and he pitched flawlessly. I think he's a big one to get in on, especially because right here, 62 Stubs right now. You could put in orders for 65 Stubs, and you could buy so many of these Patrick Sandovals. I think I already have, let me see, I only have 32 right now. I'm going to buy a lot more. But it's a great price point to get in on, and it might be a longer term investment. It might take a while to get up to like a 77 and then get into the 80s to be in the golds. And then eventually, I think he could be a low diamond, but at worst case scenario, I think he gets into the golds, and you'll make a ton of Stubs off of this flip right here. Next up, we have Silver Ian Happ. I think his power is going to increase this year. He's got more protection in that Cubs lineup. The defense is still solid at 80. I don't see the defense going up a ton or the speed or anything. I really think this is going to come from his power and having a better lineup, and yet another lefty that I think, well, he's a switch hitter, but another guy that does bat lefty that is going to benefit from the shift like no other. Matt Olson and Corey Seager we already talked about. I think this will also help Ian Happ. He was shifted on about 48% of the time last year, so that's almost half of his at-bats were shifted on. I see his contact going up against righties and definitely his power going up as well. And, you know, another one coming in at 112 that you could put in orders at to get so many Ian Happs for a very cheap rate. That means you could basically get 10 of this for 1,100 Stubs. And if he hits gold, you're getting that all back in one sell of an Ian Happ card. So I think this is definitely a big investment. Another lower card, a silver, barely on the borderline of silver, that you could get in at right now around 100 Stubs. We're getting towards the end of the video, but bear with me. We got a couple more players. This is Dustin May of the Dodgers. He's a 78 silver right now, was dealing with injuries, but this whole rotation, I mean, they lost Heaney, they lost Tyler Anderson, Walker and Gonsolin have been hurt. So Dustin May has a chance coming back from this injury to go out and be dominant like he was right before he went out. And the K per nines are going to go up. The walk per nines, I feel like, you know, barring any big things from this injury, could go up. This one is kind of a risk because of the injury and coming back from that. But if you want to take that risk, I think he could have huge upside. He's definitely got diamond upside to his pitching. He throws so hard. He's got so many nasty pitches. He was such a huge talked about player the year he broke into the league and was showing what he could do on the bump. And like I said, with all these other cards, right now you can come in and get him at 195, 196. And I haven't bought any of his yet, but I've been waiting for some of these orders to go through, and they kept getting up higher and higher. So I think other people are in on this Dustin May investment. So come in if you're down to ride out the risk and play it a little, you know, dangerous and get some Dustin Mays to flip later on after some updates. Next up, we have Nasty Nestor. Nestor Cortes of the New York Yankees. He's a starting pitcher. He's going right now for about 400 Stubs. He's a low gold. And this dude was just flat out nasty last year. I think because he's a low gold, I think his not his ceiling, but around what I would guess his upside is probably, you know, a mid diamond, like an 86, 87 diamond. I don't see him as a 90 plus pitcher, but, you know, maybe I'm wrong. He just doesn't have the velo, but he's very nasty. He's got a lot of break to his pitches, and he, you know, the Ks per nine could go up based off of that. I don't think they'll get too high because, like I said, he doesn't throw hard enough, in my opinion, to really, really bump up the K per nine. But he's still really nasty, and at 80, I think he's a steal. I think he definitely will be in the diamond realm if he stays healthy. That's the one thing. He just had the hamstring injury that kept him out of the WBC, and he didn't, you know, make any starts into the spring training until only a couple weeks ago. So we'll have to keep an eye on his injuries. But other than that, this dude is flat out nasty and could definitely be a mid to, you know, low diamond in my opinion. So that's another guy to look out for. Next up, we have Zach Eflin, and this dude just got moved to the Rays. The Rays know how to fix pitchers. They know how to make pitchers absolutely disgusting, and I think they will do some of that with Zach Eflin. I mean, his velocity, break, and control is all nice. His walks per nine are great. It's just the K per nines and the hits per nine, and I think that will come down with the Rays. They're going to limit contact. They might not. The K per nine might not go up a bunch, but I think the hits per nine will definitely jump up with the Rays. Zach Eflin already had some good stuff going on in Philly, but I think the Rays will definitely bump him up a tier, and I see him as, you know, a mid-gold, an 83 and 84. So not a huge jump potentially, but I think you will definitely make Stubs off of him because he is a 76 right now, and he's only 93 Stubs. So you come in at 94, 95 Stubs, I think you could buy some Zach Eflins, and he will be a gold at some point in this season, in my opinion. Now, this is a card that I think has the big potential to be like an ace on this team, maybe a top 10, top 12 Cy Young candidate in the NL. This dude was flat out nasty in the second half of last year. He was dominant. He had an under a 1 ERA, really, really good. The only thing I don't love about this investment, is that he's already at 230 stubs for 72 bronze. Not the best price point to get in at. If you see this price point, drop it off. Maybe his first start of the season, he has not a great start. He might drop a little bit. If that happens, I would definitely come in here and scoop up some Justin Steals. But that's totally up to you based on what you see, because the price point I don't love. The margin now is slimmer because he's already 230 stubs. But still, if he has the potential to be a high gold, you could still be cashing out over 1,000 stubs per card if you invest right now. So this one is a little more of a risk in my opinion, but he has so much talent and so much going on. The walks per nine, the Ks per nine, the hits per nine, all of those can come up. So yeah, I think this is a huge, good investment to get into. You just have to be comfortable with that price point. Now, for my number 10 investment, my bonus investment on this video, Brendan Donovan of the St. Louis Cardinals. His contact's already ridiculous, right? I think the fielding can come up a lot, honestly. I know the fielding is a lot harder to bank on because of how SDS adjusts that very slowly, but I still think his fielding will come up after being at 48 right now. I really think he could be like in the 60s or 70s of fielding. And then the power, I think, is also going to increase. He's another lefty. I don't know how much he was shifted on last year. I didn't do as much research into him, but this is more of like a gut feeling one. I see Brendan Donovan as a high silver, possibly like an 80, 81 gold. If he gets the playing time and gets to, grow with the Cardinals. He's a utility guy. He's young. He's good. I know Jordan Walker, getting the invite to the show and having Arenado and Goldschmidt and Tommy Edman. They got a lot of guys in that infield that can flat out rake and play the field, so that makes it tough for him. But I think he'll get enough at-bats and enough playing time that he will at least break into the silver realm and possibly be, a low to mid gold going forward after some updates. This might be a little longer investment. This might be a buy and hold for a while, but he's only 52 stubs right now. So you could get him for very, very, very cheap. I think, if you're going to spend 1,500 stubs on a pack, I'd rather come in here with 1,500 stubs and buy a crap ton of Brendan Donovan and watch as he grows throughout the season and come in and cash in on those later on. So guys, that does it for the investment video. I hope you guys take some of these to heart. Look at them on your own, make your own opinion on them, and then come in and buy some, hold them for the roster updates. Opening day is tomorrow. So, you got to start getting in these investments quickly because some of these guys are going to have a great, first week and people are going to come in and buy them all up. The prices will shoot up. So I would definitely like a Sandoval or even, Corey Seager, Ian Happ, some of those guys, I would definitely jump on as quick as possible. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said in the beginning, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that sub button and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.